All right, Yogi. So if there's another way you would like to start, that's totally fine. But I'm going to start in child pose. It's really a fantastic position for stretching and inversion and just calming the body in general. The forward bends tend to calm your body. All right. If you want to start laying on your back on a brick, we did that on Thursday, or if you want to sit and meditate or something. Okay. But I'm going to start in child pose this morning. Remember, on Sundays, feel good practice. I'll try to give you some options. All right, so let's take about a minute in child pose, starting to connect to our body, to our breath. Maybe setting an intention. Some things you could do here in the end is massage your forehead on the floor, or walk your arms over to a side, getting into your side body. If you're just joining, we're starting in child pose this morning. Remember, simple, slower Sundays, taking some time to do a little bit more therapeutics, a little bit more the subtle things we don't do in the Tuesday, Thursday, or Saturday bigger, stronger classes. So getting that good child pose in here, yogis. Last few moments. All right, let's come up the tabletop. Good old cat-cow, right? If you want a little bit more of a cat-cow, you can do your wrists by turning your hands face around. That's one of my favorites. The reverse grip, some people call it. After you get into your cat-cow, going forward and back, you start to maybe draw some circles in the hips, moving a little side to side. So I'm going to make class easy today on purpose. It's kind of like gentle yoga, but maybe one tier above. Where gentle yoga, there's, I wouldn't really do a number of these things we're about to do, but we're going to do it all in an easy way. So I'm just kind of loosening up my core here. And we'll just take about 3 movements in the beginning just to warm up the body, get a little blood flow going. All right. One of my basic core favorites here, it's a little bit more for the back body. The extending of the opposite leg and arm. On your inhale, right leg and left arm. And you can kind of pause here. You don't always have to move. Even just holding will warm you up. Left hand, right knee down, and then left leg and right arm. You're starting to breathe a little bit stronger here. Wake up those lungs. I'm on my second round, right leg and left arm. So I'm not doing the knee to elbow underneath the body repetition. You are more than welcome to add that if you'd like. If you want even easier, sometimes we just do the leg, right? You kind of repeat the leg. Those are nice options as well. It's really hard to beat that exercise, really fantastic. Okay, next exercise should be pretty easy as well, guys. It's the repetition of the rotation. I'm going to take the right hand behind the right ear. I'm just going to kind of keep moving through a few things. Right hand behind right ear, right elbow toward left forearm, pulling the belly in, right arm up and open. Okay, again, I'm not forcing range of motion. Right elbow, left forearm, right elbow more toward the sky.
few more. Remember, if your elbow, if your wrist bothers you or something, look, put my forearm on a block. See that? And then I can do it like this. Just, the block might be a little unstable, so be careful. Try to turn with your core. If it hurts the shoulder or anything, just keep the arm off the ear. Okay, and then I'm going to do the second side. Sometimes I like to hold at the top, I've mentioned in previous classes. When I rotate the chest, the arm, the navel open, I like to kind of hold it to stretch. It's just like laying on your back, dropping your knees over to the side. It's just done in a different activation style, okay? Really nice. So take your time here, yogis. We'll meet back in tabletop, and then you're just gonna take it up to down dog. Pedal your feet out, move around, you know what to do. I'm using this to get to the ankles and the feet, particularly that first bigger straight leg stretch, so the hamstrings. Just try to remember to press your palms out and relax your neck, right? All right. I'm not even going to do push-ups right now. You can add those if you want. We've done them every day this week in class. So if you've been here, 3 days was pretty good. I'll give you options down the chest here, yogis. If you want a little back activation, I'm doing the gentle cobra here. Okay, using my back muscles to lift my chest. Some of us might want to go to Sphinx, thinking a little bit more stretch. Just taking the time for these subtle variations. Sphinx or gentle cobra, you are more than welcome to do chaturangas, up dogs and cobra, whatever you want to do is fine. A few more breaths, wherever you're at, in that first bigger back bend. A lot of you guys are still going in your push-ups, so take your time.
I apologize. I don't know if you guys can hear, but I think there's like the old-fashioned car show in Manhattan Beach today, because since 6 a.m. there's been the loudest cars by the hundreds flying through Manhattan Beach, and they keep going down. If you can hear, that's what that noise is. If you can hear it, I'm not sure. No, can't hear it. Okay, because it seems like very loud. I have the windows up. Not the best sound for a meditative yoga class.
All right, yogis. Take your time. Nice big stretch here. Bring it down to the chest. This is one I do regularly. Haven't been teaching enough in class lately, right? Right arm reaches out, and I kind of open the heart, the chest, pressing through the left hand. Left leg reaches behind me. Just a few breaths this morning. Won't hold too long. I think everyone knows that one, right? Like this. If you want more, you're like this. Don't forget, some days we do move side to side here.
So you could widen your arms and then roll kind of side to side more dynamically. And then based on your body and what you're feeling, you'd switch sides eventually. Maybe you're like, whoa, my shoulder's tight. I need to hold this a lot longer. And that's what you do. When we slow down too, you get back into your breathing. You do some some of those movements and the reaching your arm and leg back forward. A lot of these did push-ups. The breath maybe doesn't become the focus, the body, and then you go back into your breathing once you slow down the body again. Now, on Sundays, it'd be good to have a little bit extra focus on consistent quality breathing practice. I don't tend to do too many isolated breaths, but if you want to add anything, breath holds, I always told you, are one of my favorites. Very simple, very productive. All right, yogis. Now I want you to take your time. If you want to do a cobra, another child pose, or another down dog, that might be nice after this. And then we're gonna basically meet through down dog and walk our feet to the front of our mat. That's a back bend into a twist. We came from twist, and now you take that big forward bend again, where you walk your feet to the front of your mat. If you want to sit on your buttocks and do it instead, reach for your toes, you can. It's a good idea to take an inhale, half lift, and then forward fold, a little swaying side to side, or some people might feel good pulling on the feet a little, or even stepping on the hands for a wrist stretch. In the beginning, I offered you cat-cow with this, right? Now you could step on your hands it's not easy, but you get the wrist stretch like that now, with the back of the hands down on the floor or on the blocks. If your hands are on the blocks, you probably can't step on your hands then. Nice. Yeah, sometimes it's nice to pull on the back of the head a little bit, kind of tucking the chin. It almost represents like a plow, where there's a little extra assist. Plow at your body weight, but here, if you were to take your hands behind your head, tuck your chin a little, using those hands to create a bigger stretch in the back of the neck.
All right, please take your time. We'll meet up in standing. Sometimes it's good to hinge up. Sometimes it's nice to let everything hang and pull you gotta pull the belly in if you're gonna do that one. And round up, right? And I'm gonna do this nice loosening movement just for a few moments. I do this like every day. I don't teach in yoga every day, but it is one I would probably suggest to do often, just to keep the body nice and open. And it is a good idea to maybe do a squat, and I don't have you hold chair as much, maybe just a few breaths holding your chair posture. If you feel like you need to move, that's okay. All right, nice little chair. I want to get a lot of weight bearing in my legs. I really want the legs, the quads, everything to start firing in the legs. I'm just going to keep it simple.
But if there's any version, moving one-legged,
Okay, big inhale, yogis. And exhale. Let's forward fold for the floor. Step our left foot to the back of our mat. Now I'm going to do the back knee down. Simple, slower Sundays. We haven't really been doing this posture enough, right? So I'm going to turn top of the back foot down. Just notice my back knee. It's further back than the hips, right? Walk my blocks back. I do want to think I want to think strength too, right? Pressing my feet down, kind of lifting my chest, squeezing my pelvic floor. I'm starting to feel out my neck a little bit. So once you're in your lunge, I'm keeping my hands on blocks just to encourage softer stuff. You can tell the teaching style is different today. Like yesterday, I was really kind of intense. Or I think I was, a little loud and intense and going. And this time it's a little just easier going, okay, in general. Now I'm here and I'm just kind of like feeling out my neck, shoulders back and down, maybe bringing an ear to the shoulder. And I'm thinking strength and stretching the legs. Maybe tucking the chin or lifting the chin. If I did want a little bit more in this pose, I could bring my left arm up. Remember, my right leg's forward. So left arm up, and I side bend. And it's called Pettigasana, last 3 breaths. And I'm noticing my knees are a little sensitive, so I should have a blanket.
I think all my yoga blankets are down. Okay, next little posture here is the straight leg hamstring, half split or half pyramid. Now the hips shift back over the back knee. That was the back bend with a side bend in it, maybe, right? Now here's the forward bend. I lengthen my chest, I forward fold. Some options include, I would back out of the flexibility, but kind of notice the toes, rocking in and out, kind of rotating the hip. Cat cow is a nice little subtle movement. Or just nice holding the posture. I'm gonna keep it going, yogis. All right. Hands on the floor, right foot back. Modified side plank today. Left foot off behind me, right foot at the back of my mat, behind the alignment of my left hand, left knee. Turn the chest up and open. So if you didn't get your side stretch, here's another opportunity, right? Top arm can go high, you can stay on the hip. If you want a little bit more, right leg can start to lift. Just pull the ribs in, don't arch the back, please. You want a little bit more, arm could go up. If you want a lot, you could bring right hand behind to the foot like the bow. Let's take a few breaths here. And you can always do full side plank if you're feeling good. Just because I'm teaching Simple Soul Sundays doesn't mean it's always the best choice. On a good day, take advantage of the good conditions of the body. Okay. Can we do the second side? No rush getting there. You come through tabletop or plank and then the right hand down. It is good to pivot the right foot off your mat behind you. It just makes it a little easier in balance. So you're getting something into the side body here. There's a lot of different ways to do this one. Nice, little arm circling. So there's something I want to practice today, yogis. We haven't done in a while, and it is important. It's called scapular push-ups or serratus press. It's isolating your scapulae, okay? So you're gonna bring it down to the knees. You can do this on the forearms too, but I think it's easier to see. I can get more range of motion for demonstration on the hands. I'm gonna stay in tabletop. You can do it in plank. Watch. I do not bend my arms. I drop my chest between my arms. I spread my back. It's not cat-cow. Remember, it's not this. So my spine isn't extending and flexing. My spine stays chested neutral. And I'm dropping the chest. What you're going to feel is your shoulder blades roll back together behind you at the spine. So right at the upper back, it's kind of pinching together there. In essence, what you're doing is this, right? See how my arms don't have to bend here? Try it. Slow it down, feel it good, all right? Please take it slow. I'm just gonna have you step your left foot forward eventually. Let's start our Anjaneyasana or runner's lunge, lunge with the back knee. I think a couple of you actually did high lunge, so that's basically the same exact thing, okay? Back knee, back, top of the foot down, and blocks will eventually walk back. So we're gonna try to hold this space a little longer today, please. And I'm a little ahead of you, right? If you're having fun in your serratus push, you're gonna get a second round. You don't need to keep up with me. Again, it might be a nice moment here for a neck movement, even like things like jaw, open the mouth. You're kind of exploring. I did mention Pedigasana. That's where the right arm goes up to the sky. Your right palm faces the left and you side bend over to the left. That is considered like a double psoas traction, right? So as my right leg is behind me, the hip flexors lengthen. And then as I side bend, the psoas in particular is connected to the inner thigh and the sides of your spine, the transverse processing. It's like wrapped around the whole spine, right? But it's more rooted on the side, bony prominence as your vertebrae. And as I side bend away from it, it might also be pulling it there. And it could be your deepest lower back muscle. So it is nice to add this side bend on a good day. Now, some of you are already going there. The next stretch is the straight leg. So this is considered the forward bend of the little sequence here. So my front leg straightens, my hips over my back knee, half split, half pyramid. I mentioned things like cat cowing or turning toes in and out, just to think about exploring. Nice deep breath here. Right, on stronger days, we up on the feet here in pyramid. On big flexibility days, you're doing full splits. Just look out for too much rounding in the spine there, right? If you're functionally, intentionally rounding your spine, that plays an important role in a healthy core and spine, right? But if you're doing it in a pattern that's unconscious, unintentional, hunching and rounding all the time, that's completely different. Right? Rounding with intention can be good. Rounding without awareness about it is probably bad. Okay. So now listen, yogis, I want you to finish this up at your own pace. My left leg tends to be more flexible, so I would need a little less time on that side. Or excuse me, more flexible. So you do your thing, you meet back in tabletop, and this is an opportunity. I'm not even going to do the side plank again. You can do it if you want, but I'm just going to go right for serratus presses. So we're working on, it's very common. People's scapula is weak and sticky, like stuck all around this bone on the back of the shoulder blade, they call it, right? So I want you to try to like move it a lot. So a lot of times you see people doing shoulder shrugs. This is one of them in the different plane movement. I'm having you go forward and back. So serratus press, dropping your chest between your arms, your scapulae roll back, almost pinched together behind, above your spine, it feels like, right? There is a big challenge going around. I don't know if you guys follow a lot of yoga people, but you put a grape between your shoulder blades and you scapular retract to see if you can squeeze and pop the grape. I didn't never do it, but it was a big thing going around a couple years ago to see if your retraction is really developed, if your protractors are really open, right? So if you can't move your shoulder blades back, it's probably protracting resistance. Everyone kind of get it? All right, so you're on your own there, you keep it going. I want to do a little bit of ankle stuff that we don't take enough time to do here. We did a little child pose to warm up. So now I'm going to sit on my heels. This one's pretty intense, yogis. I won't make you hold it too long, all right? I keep my hands on my blocks. I've been working out a lot, pretty sore. So watch the right knee. It lifts. It's a really big front ankle stretch. Now, I mainly have you just sit on your ankles for this. But now I'm going back. My knees are a tiny bit wide, probably. Not letting the heels roll out. I lift the right knee and I hold. Now, if that's a little much, you can do stuff like this too. I put the block underneath the knee. Okay, try to sit up and just lean back. Last breath or two on the first side. Some of you might be good at it, right? It's not that stimulating. And you can just kind of do both and just hold the whole time, right? We'll do the second leg when you're ready. Left knee is going to lift.
should really, really get into the front of the left ankle. Again, sometimes in yoga, right, it's been a while since we've done this. I don't know if I've ever done it in Zoom, but you hold that, right? You just hold the block underneath the knee for an extended period, like a yin. Okay, and then when you're done there, you don't hold that too long if you're new. I just kind of shift to the knees and hands, roll out the ankles. I want to do the opposite now. It is the back of the ankle with the toe flexion, toe extension, right? So big toes, ball of the feet touch, head, heels touch, the toe tuck, sit back. Let's just take a breath or three here. If you want a little extra, guys, hands behind your back and roll those shoulders back. So that is the retraction, right? I was mentioning how we do it like this. I tend to have you do it a lot like that. You're using your hands and your muscles squeezing together to squeeze here. Plus your toes are probably really screaming at you. When you're done, exit position, shake your feet out a little bit. All right, I'm gonna do thread the needle. Even easier is child pose. More challenging stretch would be laying on your chest, double thread the needle. Right arm underneath left and tabletop is next position. So take your time getting there. Right ear down, relax down, adjust feet, breathe. When you're ready, second side, tabletop, left arm underneath.
We just came from those big lunges and half splits, serratus presses, big ankle toe stretch. So you just get a calming moment, right? You did your chest opener where the arm goes wide behind. Now it goes across. So it is the opposite action.
All right, yogis, please take your time. When you're done there, we're gonna make our way back up to standing. If you wanna do a sun salutation, chaturanga, whatever you wanna do, I'm just gonna walk through dog, forward bend, little half lift, bend the knees, and then I'm gonna stand up, okay? Okay, so we did some lunges. Let's go right into our tree pose this morning. Now, basics, tree poses, you're here. A little bit stronger for strength, you're here. I'm just grabbing the knee, straightening my bottom leg, lifting. If you're ready, and if you want to do warrior three, I'm gonna skip that today. And you could do one-legged chair, but good to do the basics some days. And we could add like a shoulder bind if you'd like. You just cross your arms, and we just did have them behind. Reverse prayer might be nice, just bringing the fist behind you, the elbow grab or the prayer. So let's get our first balance on the feet going, please. Tuck the tailbone, lift the chest. A really nice way to challenge yourself, yogis, if you're doing some basics, is just to close your eyes. Really focus on your center.
Thinking about a minute hold, right? So depending on what you feel like you need right now, you'll shake it out a little bit and we will switch sides. So we're just going to do a little extra emphasis on the balance this morning. Yesterday was light balance, right? I think. And then, so we do want to have, I try to mention this, a day of the week, let's say, where balance becomes the main focus. Like you might do cardio one day, right? You might lift extra weights one day, you might stretch one day, but then you have to have the balance day. Ideally, you're doing it consistent, but then there is that like day when you really do a lot of reps and build that muscle memory. Consistency is very necessary, but then having that big day a week can really propel your growth as well. All right, yogis, so I'm gonna do something simple now. It's a quadricep stretch. So it is a stretch, but it's second round of balance. It's classic, just kind of fitness right now. A lot of ways to do it, right? Very simple, no rush. I'm just going ahead so you can get right into it. Yeah, and you're not standing there watching the demo, right? So it looks like this, right? Left hand, left foot. I do it sometimes right hand, left foot. Sometimes I do it both hands to the foot. Just notice I'm not here, I'm not here. I'm in good posture, pulling the knee back, pulling the heel in, pulling the ribs in. So it's kind of the opposite of this, right? If you did this one, arms in front of you, pull, arms in back of you. Knee in front of you, knee going back. Second round of balance when you're ready. Just notice the head position too, right? If it comes forward a lot, you are working on pulling the head back a little, kind of lengthening through the neck up. Back of the neck, a little bit of length. Remember, the neck has that, it's like your lumbar, your lower spine, your lower back. It has a natural back bend. So it tends to like, it can get like the hyper arch. So it's good to like lengthen the back of the neck a little bit, pull it back, lengthen it up. All right. The problem is now it's like everyone's looking down. So that's not the best cue necessarily for everyone. All right. I tell you, like lift the forehead and the back of the head together. Okay, can we do the second side? Looks like some of you is already there. You should be getting a thigh stretch as well. Getting some basics done here, yogis. And just to build on that, right, the middle 14 joints of your spine, the middle 12 vertebrae, they have a natural forward bend. So that's, when we do stuff like back bends, that's why it's hard to sometimes chest breathe and you have to work on belly breathing, because you take your spine that's naturally forward bent. So it has the forward C curve and you're back bending it to reverse, right? And everything like locks up in the ribs. So it gets tight to breathe. So just remember that, the upper spine has the back curve, the middle spine has the forward C curve, and then the lower back has the opposite. It's a big kind of S, right? All right, guys, when you're done there, please exit slowly. Now, I got one more round of balance, third round. So do you want to do this one? Feet stacked, eyes closed. Do you want to do something like this, a nice figure four chair? This would be a little bit more big stretch and strength. This would be a little bit more, refined, challenging balance. If you didn't get to do Warrior 3 and you wanted to, I'm going to keep it simple though. You could do toe balance, something like this, where you're just up on your toes, something where your body's unstable. So one more round of balance. If you're doing double foot with the line, you got to close your eyes. That's kind of the whole thing of that posture. I always try to say it, you got to strengthen your legs like really often. Like I like to say like every day in some way, or I mean like attention to your legs. But then you do strengthen your legs like 5 days in a row. You definitely should probably rest them for a day, right? And take those easy versions. I just tend to find most people's legs aren't as strong as they should be. And yoga, I've said this often, is not really adequate. It can be easily inadequate for strengthening your legs. The best thing to just add that's just practical is walk up hills or stairs. That's the and walk down too. Walk backwards upstairs if you can. That does it all. It's one of the best possible things you can do at any time. Okay, you're doing your morning walk. Where's the biggest hill? How many times can I go up and down it? See, that's why you hear like some physicians say go hiking. You just walk for bones. It's walking uphill. All right. So when you're ready, you make sure you do your second side. I am just going to do like one straddle type position, which means bringing your legs wide laterally. That would be last standing position. I'm not going to, we did a lunge on the ground. I'm not going to do a ton of lunges today. Your lunges were kind of your half splits and your Anjaneyasana. We did the knee into the forehead. Your standing postures are kind of like lunges, right? They're one-legged asymmetries. So you don't always need to do a ton of lunging. So when you're done, so I was thinking of straddle. How do you want to do it? Do you want to do strength? This is a good one. Do you want to do stretch? Here. Super stretch? Here. Triangle is a straddle. Right? Warrior 2 is a straddle. What's one thing you want to do on your feet with the wide legs? This is a nice stretch we never do. A grind stretch. I'm kind of using it's kind of like warrior 2, right? Not quite, more like Skandasana, right toes turn out. Remember, Sundays is a day, 2 weeks ago, I was doing a really free practice on Sunday. I was saying, you get one lunge, how do you want to do it? You get one balance, how do you want to do it? You get one squat, how do you want to do it? And I was just mentioning all this stuff. Sunday is more, I'm going to get out of your way and suggest things. I try to do it in every class, but I want one class we're really focused on. I've talked about this in the yoga. The root chakra is the legs. It's all the energy flow, inner legs in particular. And they're always like together. The legs are together. They even crossed a lot in people, and they're not wide enough laterally. They go forward and back all the time walking, but they're not open laterally. So in yoga, they always say in each class, you got to have people open up their legs for the energy flow, the root chakra. Just to talk deeper there, that's where all the energy flows through first. That's like the gateway into your energetic self, the prana, and the kundalini, and the shakti, okay? All right, guys, so here we go. We're gonna make our way down. I'm gonna do a yogi squat. If you wanna do a sun salutation or something, that's always great. But I'm gonna go yogi squat. We already did child pose, so you don't necessarily need to do this one, but I'll take it down to the ground, shake it out. And I'm just gonna do a nice little light movement here today, because I want to take it down to the back. We did two movements that were pretty similar, but nothing quite as big. So this is called the Sufi roll in yoga. Think of it like part of core work, okay, but easy. I'm going to lean to the left, then lean forward left, forward, right, right to the back. I might grab my knees for a little hold. I am back bending here. My chest is lifted. Okay, the left. I'm just loosening up my core here after the balance. Taking the time today. Let's do these things we're not doing.
To do it more challenging, you'd go back in the straddle and do it. But be easy, guys. This is a big one. Make sure you switch directions, please. I do want to take the time to do a yoga on the back this morning. We did 1 round of bridge on Thursday. That's probably not enough for the week, right? I can't remember what we did on, I think we did planks on Tuesday, but nice bridge work now. So how do you want to do your bridges? When you're done with your Sufi circling of the spine or rolling, easier is here, obviously, just kind of holding your position, maybe a block between your thighs, pressing your big toe down, squeezing your buttocks a little bit, pulling your heels to your shoulders. Trying to relax though too, right? If you want a little bit more, there's an angled bridge. Don't forget this one. It's really great. Soles of the feet together, knees open. And as I lift the hips, the knees open, okay? And as I lift my hips, my knees open. I do want a posterior toe. You're probably not going to lift this high here. If you want to go up and down, that's nice. If you want to do a one-legged bridge, I'd like to give you an extra, maybe 2 minutes here for bridges. So this is our back strengthening of class. One more option, yogis, is this little walking bridge. This is basic. Arms go down for this one, maybe grab your back. Watch what I do. I walk my right foot. I might have to bring my feet a little closer together, right? Right foot a little bit forward, and I kind of lift the ball of the foot. Watch, left foot a little forward. So I always say heels under knees. Once you start doing that, then you go back to where you might have done this unintentionally. And then look, left foot goes forward more, right foot goes forward more. So this is another way to strengthen the hamstrings. I love that one. We haven't done it in a while as a group either. And then I kind of bring the foot in, and look at the feet are in a different position. They're not always linear and symmetrical in bridge, right? You can lift your heels. So I'd like you to work your bridge. After this, we're going to do one core exercise, and then it's stretching on the whole way out, okay?
Okay, so last minute here, please. Don't forget, a nice addition to the traditional yoga practice would be taking one of those nice little thigh resistance rubber bands that you can get and put them around your knee area, and you keep the band's going to want to squeeze your knees together, but you keep the hips open. That's something we never get to do in here, those bands, and they're such a fantastic addition to your strengthening routine. It's just like a plank, but for your hips. They keep it really engaged on the outside. I try to mimic things like that, but if you don't have those yet, they're a real good addition. You don't have to be warmed up. You can just throw them around your knees and walk around the kitchen and do a few little things, right? It's a really nice one to add. Okay, so looks like some of you are done, and some of you are still going. So I just kind of mention what's next, and you catch up when you're ready. I was thinking one little abdominal exercise. I like the dead bug. Remember when we were on tabletop and I had you reach your right leg back and your left arm forward? It's the exact same thing, exact same movement, exact same body form, but now for front body tension. So your arms would reach to the sky, shoulders, lower back down. Your knees bend, so your knees are over your hips. Feet are right angle from the knee out, right beyond the knee there. And then in right leg back, right leg forward, left arm back. And you hold and you got to keep your lower back down. It's the same thing. When you are in tabletop and you reach your right arm, left leg opposite, your back wants to arch and you got to pull your belly in. Here, the weight wants to arch your back and you pull your belly in, which means push. I say push your lower back down here. If you want to do a little crunches, if you want to do anything else for your abs, leg swings, leg levers. Leg levers is where head, shoulders, arms, lower back stay down, and your legs start to go reach forward. They start over your hips. You hold, keep your lower back down. But something to just stimulate your abs. Doesn't have to be too strenuous, yogis. If you're doing the dead bug, it's really important, again, just to keep the lower back down. That's kind of like the main physical action. Okay, so you're gonna just go at your own pace. I'm not doing core class here. I'm not blasting your abs. I was thinking a stretcher or two here, then a closing meditation. We stretched our hamstrings and hip flexors more than enough. We stretched our thighs enough. Inner thighs may be lacking a little bit, but I mixed in a lot of opportunities to get that. We did reciprocally and embedded as well. But I was thinking figure 4 stretch into medial rotation. Which one do you need? Which hip stretch do you want? It's okay to do a different one. We didn't really rotate the hips in a big way. So the next thing could be a nice right ankle atop left knee, threading the needle. Now I said medial and lateral. That's the lateral, right? So your right hip, the knee is turning out. So you're here, okay? Now, maybe you want a little bit extra of this one instead. That's where the left foot goes down, the right foot goes on the outer knee, and the knee's not right. This is not a spinal twist. Excuse me, it might be a subtle spinal twist, but that's not my intention right now. It's the internal rotation of your left hip. 2 more breaths on our first side. Your choice, you can do a little of both, or you can pick one. Okay, and then, whenever you're feeling good about it, you switch sides. Some days you hold it longer, some days you're kind of in and out of it. I am going to maybe suggest a spinal twist or a block pose next, block supported pose. So just so you're aware, you don't always need to stretch your hips after class. It's kind of like we give one last attention release to the leg / hip, and then you give one last attention to the core, a release, whether it's lower back or abs, or you can still stay with hips because the core and the hips are kind of the same thing, right? But it's like 2 opportunities here to just find one last release. A block under your hips might be nice, restorative bridge. Legs up the wall might be nice. Block under your chest instead for restorative fish. If we didn't get enough back bending, not a big back bending class. It was Anjaneyasana and Sphinx. There's a few other subtle opportunities in there, but another big thing could be a spinal twist if you didn't get to go there. Bring knees in, drop them over, one knee in, drop it across. What does your body need? Maybe you want to do a shoulder compression instead. You want to reach your arm behind you and lay on the arm like Gomukhasana. Now, please take your time. You make sure you switch sides here. It's the last like minute or so. I want to get you into meditation today. I haven't been saving enough time for that, and that's not good. So you're just kind of doing the last little things you need in your body. You're closing up the physical practice however you feel is needed. And then you want to think to close practice in a more subtle body intention, whether it's energy body, things like breathing or aura practice, magnetic field, electrical awareness. Those are all energy things. You could do thought body, like the mind, you know, creating specific thoughts. It all kind of relates to emotions, it can be separate. You could do emotional things. I've mentioned things like chanting, mentioned things like asking a question and listening for the answer in meditation. Um, if there's any active styles, I've been doing a lot of visualization style meditations. I think that would be in the mental part where I'm trying, a lot of things happening in the world and uncertainty in the future, and trying to get my visualization going to manifest, not just let randomness take its course, maybe, set my intention vision for the future and start to create that pattern in the universe so it can manifest in the physical, right? So, what are you working on in this more inner, subtle, mental, psycho part of yourself? And then you get a few minutes here to practice that. A lot of days too, I do passive meditations. I just do shavasanas. All right, so it looks like you're all in position. Take about 5 minutes here, yogis. Let go. Final closing meditation.